Hi, welcome back. My name is Abby Flynn. I'm a broker associate with Ketchum Realty Group, and today I want to talk about what happens after inspections and up to and including in closing. It kind of happens, it's a long 2-week process. Not a lot happens that involves the buyer. There's a lot of things that happen on the backside. First thing is your insurance company. They may have a few questions here and there before they end up binding the insurance for closing. They may ask you for those inspection reports. They may ask you for the certifications of the wind mitt or the 4-point inspection. And remember, this is Florida. If we end up in the zone for a hurricane, they may not write policies at all. In fact, the whole process might get put on pause while the hurricane rolls through. Sometimes an appraiser has to go back out and take a second look at the house. Sometimes the insurance company sends their own person out just to make sure that the house is still in the same condition that it was when the buyer put that offer down on it. The next thing that happens is the survey. Yes, the survey needs to be done in almost all situations. If the seller has an old one and they've done nothing, they sometimes will recertify the survey to the buyer. Sometimes title agents will not write insurance policies on those old surveys. So sometimes buyers want to know where the boundary markers are, especially if you're out in the country and you have a fairly large property. You want to know what do you have to mow and where your edges are. That survey costs about $450. It takes about 2 weeks to order, but it does leave the little pink flags in every corner of your property. Repairs are also done during this time. If you've negotiated any repairs for the seller needs to get them done in that 2-week period. And then that brings us to the final walkthrough. The final walkthrough is usually the day of or the day before closing, and that's your chance to walk through the house, make sure any repairs that were done that you guys have agreed upon, make sure that the house is in the same condition as it was when you put the offer on it. Sometimes I will take pictures of appliances because I have had times where the sellers have removed appliances and put in other appliances. That's a big no-no, so making sure you have those photos as documentation helps you out a lot in the long run. At closing, you're going to need to bring the money that you need, that is your responsibility to close this property. Usually that's your loan down payment if there's anything beyond what you've put down as a earnest money deposit. You also need to bring photo identification because the person who you're closing with is going to need to verify that you are the same person that is on those papers, so your identification needs to match what's on those papers. It's really important. When we go under contract, I try to put everything that looks exactly like your photo identification. It just makes the whole process go a lot smoother. There's a lot less questions. You're going to need to bring a certified or a cashier's check to closing. Some people like to wire that money, and that's perfectly fine, but you absolutely need to call that title agent and make sure that you have the correct account numbers. We have had people lose tens of thousands of dollars in the Tallahassee area because our emails got hijacked. They thought they were responding to an email that came from the title agent. They sent the money to an offshore account. The money is gone, tens of thousands of dollars. So don't be in that situation. If you're going to wire money, make sure you call and ask that title agent for instructions on how to do that. The next thing, Florida is a communal property state. If you are closing on property, your spouse is going to need to be there to sign. Even if they're not on the mortgage, they need to be there to sign that they're acknowledging they're not on the mortgage, but they're all on the deed. Or even if they're not on the deed, they need to sign to acknowledge that they're not on the deed. So if you're married in Florida, bring your spouse to closing. And likewise, if you have any other questions, feel free to browse our other YouTube videos, check out our webpage, call me, instant message me, and please hit that subscribe button. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks, have a great day.